I'm pleased to say I'm joined by the man who's finished top of the UK Q School Order of Merit to get his tour card at Q School this week, Jack Main. Thanks for the time, Jack. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine, mate. Yourself?
I'm doing well, thank you. And let's start with Q School. Your tour card was confirmed a day early via the Order of Merits. You've had more time than most of the players to let that sink in, what you've achieved over the last fortnight. Since you got that nod, what has your life been like since then?
Yeah, it's been a bit hectic with all the messages, all the phone calls and everything from everyone. It hasn't really sank in just yet. Still fresh in there. Fresh. I don't think it'll sink in until that first Pro Tour and then when we get underway. And yeah, it's a bit weird, really.
And not long to wait for that. And I know you're from Norwich. I'm probably showing my age here a little bit by bringing up Mercy, the nightclub. I don't think it's open anymore, but nothing is right now. We're in a lockdown in the UK. How did you celebrate on Tuesday night? Was it just FaceTime to family and friends? What were you able to do?
I didn't really celebrate, to be honest. Literally went back to the room, had something to eat, done a few phone calls as you do, and went to bed. There weren't nothing, like I say, it hadn't really sank in, so it was just, I thought I've got another day yet, and that was it really. It's a bit weird, like I say, that without the pubs open and everything, you can't really celebrate, can you? So.
Well, we'll come back to Q School, but I want to first circle back before you took up darts. I know football was your first sport of choice, and I was watching your interview with the PDC during Q School. You were hoping to pursue football a little bit further. Talk to us about that time. Am I right in saying you played youth football for Norwich? What did you achieve during that time, and what got in the way of going further?
When I moved to Norwich, I played for a local team for about a year, and then I got scouted for Norwich, and I was playing, I think it was under 12s at the time, and I was actually only 11 years old, so I went on trial with Norwich. They put me through the first stage, and then I went on tour with them to Belgium, and I didn't actually realise at the time I was actually playing for the year above myself for the academy, and they actually found out my actual age, and I got signed. I was there for two and a half years. Then I got released, and then as time went on, I got picked up by Lowestoft, and I was there for 2.5 years as well. And then I got an injury, which pretty much put my career to bed. And then I got into darts, really.
So how did darts come into your life then? How did you discover it in those early days? You know, wanting to play more. How did it all happen?
Back when I was a young lad, my mum used to throw darts, but other than that, I didn't really have nothing to do with darts until probably about 17 years old, when my brother threw some darts in the house, and that's about it. And then I thought one day I'd pick them up. Weren't nothing serious, and then once my football was completely over, when I was in my leg brace and everything, I put up a dartboard in my room, and that was it. Then I just thought, I can't sit around doing nothing, and yeah, darts come into my life from now, really.
And when did you start to realise that you had a talent for darts and you wanted to maybe take it further?
I didn't really know at the time. Like I say, I didn't really have anything to do with darts. I saw it on TV here and there, or didn't through in my bedroom. Or then I went, after a while, because my brother was into it, I went to a couple of local competitions, and that's how it all stemmed. People started winning games, they started doing well, and started being noticed, and that was it, really. I thought, yeah, hopefully I can make a few quid off this. Yeah, that's where it all started from.
And I was looking back towards the end of 2016, that's when we see you start to play on the PDC development tour for the first time. How did you find those first few weekends playing on that circuit? Did it take you a bit of time to adjust and find your feet?
Yeah, it's like I say, it was an eye-opener. I went straight into it. I didn't really do the pub scene, I didn't do the Super League county. I just went straight into local competitions and then into the PDC development tour, and yeah, going in there was an eye-opener. Where I was doing alright locally, I think I was, if I remember rightly, I think I was battered every game for about near enough a year on the development tour, and then you start questioning yourself, are you good enough, are you capable? But then, like I say, you stick at it. If you enjoy what you're doing, then it'll come, and that's when I started picking up money, is more of a motivation for me to carry on.
Definitely. Well, it was a little while later, start of 2018, that you entered Q School for the first time. You had a good run on the first day, getting to the last 32. What was that experience like, trying to win a tour card for the first time that year?
I don't think I didn't really. I walked into that completely as a novice. I didn't have no expectation. I went there just thinking, just enjoy it, just have fun, throw some darts, and see where it goes. I weren't I weren't that into it. It's really strange, really. I was there obviously to do well, but it was more experience and see where my game was at. Because I know I was on development tour, and I thought I'd see what I can do with the other players, and that's where it really came from. Really, like I say, took a lot of experience from it. That's for sure.
And I guess it was this last week you've really announced yourself into the world of darts. I think it's fair to say as well, your progress in those early years. You look at your record, you've not been a overnight success. You've had the small milestones that you've ticked off along the way to get you are now, and a learning curve along the way as well, I'm guessing.
Yeah, like I say, I see what the past year and a half, I'd say, I've seen what I can do behind closed doors in my bedroom or throwing at home. I know my game has always been there, but it's obviously doing it under pressure. As I said on the PDC interview, under pressure is where it matters, and I know my game's there, so if I can bring that with the pressure, I know that'll be fine. It's just a matter of when that was going to come out, and lucky enough this week is where it did, and I started to prove where my game's at, proving that I could do it under pressure, and to top the order of merit this year has been great to be able to do it consistently, not just in that one day, although the one day would have been great, but that's done it another way, so it's all good.
Yes, a fantastic achievement, and as I say, I was looking back at your records, some achievements before then. Last 16 on the Challenge Tour, you had a semi-final on the Challenge Tour, more recently quarter-final on the Development Tour. Was there a moment, a game or a day when that gave you the most belief that you could get onto the main tour one day?
I think I got to the last 32 of the World Youth 3 times, I think, in the short time that I was on there, and I think that's where the belief came from, really. And then I was playing some of the better known players and doing well against them, if not beating them. And I thought, when I got to the semi-final of the Challenge Tour, I thought, yeah, I have got it in me. It's just a matter of when. I just needed that breakthrough to prove my point. And then, that's where the confidence came from, is when you start picking up the money, when you start picking up points, when you start going deep in competitions against good players, ex-pros, anything, you start getting that motivation and confidence, and that's where it all come from, I believe.
For everyone, the virus outbreak in March last year, almost a year ago now, put everything on hold for a little while. You touched on there, you've been playing a lot at home, so how did you find that break initially? Did you dedicate more time to work on your game? How did you spend that time?
I think it come at a good time, I'd say. Like, obviously the pandemic isn't great, but it come at a good time for my darts more than anything. I spent more time looking at myself, focusing on my game, on my throw, on the bits that I weren't so great at, and I spent numerous amount of hours over there, especially in this pandemic, practicing, and it's paying off. Like, the consistency's now coming there, the double-ins coming there, so it has done me a world of good, if I do so.
We should give a mention as well to your management, Jess, the JBD Sports agents, also look after Darren Webster as well. How much of a help have those guys been for your career so far?
Yeah, well, Jess picked me up from the beginning. Like, I come in from, I don't think he knew much about me other than when I was practicing with Darren. It's just word of mouth, and he's been there from the beginning for me, so I really can't fault him. He's supported me massively. He's kept my head above water and feet on the ground, so in that respect, he's been a massive help. A lot of weight off the shoulders. Darren, I spent 2 years with him, and he taught me a lot. He taught me how to conduct myself. Taught me that determination will get you to where you want to be, and he did teach me a lot along the way, and then it took myself to come away from that and do it all for myself, and that's what I've started to do, so hopefully it carries on a bright future.
Well, let's look back at the last 2 weeks heading into this Q School, very different from the others. You started off in stage 1A rather than the 500, 600 players all in the same room. How were you feeling before a dart was thrown going into it?
Yeah, surprisingly, I felt probably the most confident I felt. I walked in, because I was off the back of the practice that I've been doing for past 6 months has been brilliant. Like, I felt like I couldn't miss on the board, so I went into Q School with confidence. Obviously, I had to get through the first stage, so it wasn't an ideal situation, but I think to be able to do it on the first 3 days where you're back in some sort of normality, you're playing against people, so I didn't really do any of that online darts. I just didn't think that was for me, so to be able to be in front of people and have that on the hockey pressure and everything. I think that done me a world of good. So going into the 1A I think I started off all right, and I left it to the last day. I knew I needed 2 more points, and I think that's where the pressure come. And as I say, I managed to hold that together, which I've been working on, and I say I scraped through. I managed to get through to the final stages.
Yeah, it's a great point you make there. That first stage, you were under pressure going into that final day to make sure that you were back for the final stage, but you do enough, you get through, and 3-day break before you had to come back. So again, something different. Usually you have the 4 days and it's all done, but you have the break. How was that time in between the 2 stages?
I think for myself, I think that come again at a great time for me. You've put all that pressure on yourself to get through to the final stage, and then I managed to come home for a day and a half before I had to go back and obviously have the COVID test and everything. I spent the day resting, had a bit of normality at home, and then that rest in between done me a world of good. So obviously I went in there full of confidence anyway in the final stage, and off the back of knowing that the other lads who were already automatically in the final stage hadn't had the experience we've had for over the years, so I felt comfortable. I felt really at ease. So as I say, I think it done me a world of good.
It certainly showed as well. We look back to the final stage, what a start it was for you. The 98, 95, 97 averages, setting the border like you beat David Pallett, Simon Stevenson, 2 players there that dropped off the tour. That must have given you so much confidence those first 3 games.
Yeah, the first 3 games, I straight away I looked at my board, and I know Dave Pallett quite well. Played him a few times, never beat him, so I knew what sort of game I was going to be in. So I made sure that I prepped right, got myself together, and that first game I think was crucial for that day, or even for the 3-4 days. I think if I struggled in that game, then who knows what the rest of the week would have brought. But having a great start is a massive boost for anyone, any dart player. They all know that if they kick off well, then they know they're in the tournament. No one wants to get knocked out first round, especially coming back into a tournament like that when you need to pick up points or go the distance. So yeah, I think that done me a world of good. And obviously being able to beat someone that's just come off the tour, then go and beat Simon Stevenson just off the tour, and John Wolsey, like I say, it did do me a world of good, full of confidence going into the rest of the week.
Yeah, it was a great run, and as you say, that day you go on to make the final, just fall short against Kirk Shepherd, but 5 points on the board, top of the order of merit after the first day. What were you feeling as you got back to the hotel room that evening? Did it take long to put the final to one side, or were you straight onto the positives looking ahead to the rest of the week?
Funnily enough, in the final, I kept on going over the final when I got back to the room. I didn't even have anything to eat. I don't think I slept really. I had 30 minutes sleep going into the second day, and I was just going over and over. I thought, I've messed my opportunity there. Like as you do, it was tough to take. But then when you come to realisation that you've got the 5 points, you're now playing with even less pressure. You're on near enough a free run. So I think that done me a world of good as well. As it would, you're thinking that the pressure's off you. You can just play darts and enjoy it, which for the rest of the next 2 days I did. So yeah, it done me good.
Well, I wouldn't recommend 30 minutes of sleep, but 103 average in your game the next day against Scott Mitchell, the former world champion, and Alan Norris you beat in the next round. Are you starting to think then this could happen? I could get that tour card.
Yeah, I coming off the back of the first day, getting the final, playing some good darts. I went into the sleep absolutely killed me. I didn't look great, and next morning I thought, come on, get myself together and carry on my preparation from the day before. So, and then looking at that draw, you're looking at the board and you think, you got this former world champion in the BDO, and then you got Alan Norris. So going into it, I started so well, and knowing Scotty as well, I thought I've got to be at the best of my game to beat him, and lucky enough I shoe up. So, and just fell short against Alan, which is a bit of a blow on that day. But I think at that point, I think the job was done. Yeah,
and a couple more points on the board on day 3, and after that play, confirmation comes that you've done enough, along with Martin Lukeman and Louis Williams. Those 2 decide to play day 4, but you pulled out, and why not? The job was done. But what was the thinking behind that?
Funnily enough, I woke up on the next morning on the third day. I knew I'd done it. So there was a decision to be made in the morning whether I was going to play or not. I actually prepped myself as I would normally. Went and had breakfast, I got myself ready, and went down to the venue and got myself signed in. Had a practice. I was throwing really well, and then I thought because when I put the bags in the car, I actually had a leak in my car, so I thought I'd need to get that done before the first Pro Tour. So I think that was when my decision was made. Even though I carried on, went to the venue and started practicing, I thought midway through it's probably best I go home, give someone else a chance to hopefully come through. It'd be horrible for me to go knowing that I've already got my tour card and ruined someone else's chances. I thought that was playing in my head as well. So I thought, yeah, best to get myself out, get my car sorted, and get myself prepared at home for the Pro Tour.
Definitely, yeah. The Pro Tour not far away now, is it? When we're talking 7 days to go, a week today, when you're going to be playing in your first Players' Championship event. How are you feeling about that? Is it a mixture of excitement, nerves? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'd say feet are on the ground for it. It's nice going. It's not stopped. So obviously we had the first stage of Q Schools, the final stage, and then straight on to the Pro Tour to go on it off the back of the confidence. So it's exciting more than anything. And the preparation starts again now, and yeah, hopefully I'll show what I can do on the Pro Tour as well.
And East Anglia, a real hotbed for players. You've got Peter Wright leading the way, Mervyn King, Ryan Meikle, Andrew Gilding, Darren Webster, of course, and yourself before the lockdowns in a pre-COVID world, if you like. What is the dart scene like in that area?
I couldn't really tell you, because after I say I've done a few local competitions, which I have, but I kind of keep myself to myself. I've always had my eyes on the PDC from the moment I started playing development tour. I thought, yeah, that's where I want to be. So I've done stuff here and there, and I didn't round East Anglia and everything. I played the odd local competition, singles league and whatever. That's about it. So I don't really look at anyone else. I've obviously seen the journey Darren had for the last 3 years, 2-3 years, when I was practicing with him. So it was just looking what he was doing, looking what I was doing. That was about it, really. With the names, like you just now said, with Mervyn King, Peter Wright, you've even got Stephen Beaton in there now. So, like I say, it's starting to become a hotbed. Plenty of talent around here.
Definitely. Well, lastly, before we let you go, another name that I didn't mention, James Hubbard, who I know that you know well, and I said that we were going to be chatting to you, and obviously you picked up your tour card at Q School, but he asks, did you pick up the framed World Youth score sheet for him as well?
Yeah, I did. I managed to grab that for him. He's a great lad. I'd love to see him go back to the darts he was throwing a couple of years ago, and once his family's all sorted, I reckon he'll be back on it without a doubt.
Definitely, that'd be great to see. Well, Jack, we appreciate your time. We know it's been a busy week or so for you, so we appreciate you taking out the time to have a chat with us. Congratulations on getting your tour card, and wish you all the best for the next 2 years on the tour.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.